Who do I have? I see Enoch. Yes, Enoch, good to see you. Yes, Enoch is. So, again, your full name, what you do for a living, and your expectation. So, I have Moses Blessing. So, I'm into transportation business, and it's been almost 5 years. I've been following your teachings on finances and real estate. Well, you've been following does not make you my mentee, right? My mentee knows themselves and I know them. Okay, but you're welcome. At least you've sneaked in, so welcome. But you didn't tell us your expectation for today's event. Oladeji Bamdele, property developer. We want to expand to the US. Okay, good. How do we answer the question? I don't know who is asking this question because that doesn't make sense. I say, tell me your name, tell me what you do for a living and your expectation. Joel, into migration. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Mohammed Dago, e-commerce owner. My expectation as usual is to learn about the US market. Welcome. Sida Chiwuba, run an IT company in Nigeria, very new to real estate space, and looking forward to learn about real estate. I want to be a mentee. You're welcome. I have Ev Wodage, Peace Mercy, migration consultant. I expect to leave with blueprint on how to expand my business to the US and how to start property brokerage in the US. Oh, property brokerage, that's another kettle of fish entirely. Hamed Oyewumi, I'm into real estate. Suddenly everybody's now typing. Ahmed Oyewumi, I'm into real estate. Expectation is to learn about real estate in the US. Okay, now if you are here, you better put on your video. You're supposed to anchor this. You did not ask them to make you admin so that you start. I'm doing your job now. And then you are, I'm almost sure you must have committed one crime. That's why you're quiet.
No,
You,
sir.
you
Sir,
need to
I just
face
got
the
into
light.
Asaba.
You
Sir,
need
this is
to
the best
face the
light,
light.
oh.
No,
Sir, this
no,
is
no.
the best
Turn the
light.
other way. Opposite you is gonna be brighter
It's
because the light
brighter.
is
Okay,
behind
sir.
you.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone.
How is Asaba?
So I just got in. I haven't even rested. Like, you're the first. This place is very bright. However, I may not be here for long because my battery is really low, and I have a new pimple.
So what are you
I'm
trying
going
to
through a lot.
achieve?
What with what I'm saying, or with me being in Asaba, sir?
No, no, with the fact that you don't have your phone charged. I
Oh,
think
I'll
next
charge
time
it
I
while
should
no, sir,
look
I'll
for
charge it while
somebody
we're
else
here.
to anchor this event.
Like this.
Joshua, it should be you that should anchor this event or somebody else because it's
Sir, it is
obvious
me or
that
nobody.
Ogena is not ready for this.
So Ogena is
Um,
ready. Ogena
she's
is
not.
born ready.
Even your phone is about to die. You just arrived. You promised that you were going to be available. I thought you have factored in your travels and all that. But it's good to see you.
Same
Welcome.
here, sir.
And I would like to pull up some of my mentees, the real ones I can vet. So give me names. Let them just introduce themselves because the place is getting flooded. So Joshua, if you're a co-host, can you help me pull up those who are in my one-on-one real estate mentorship program?
So you have Mr. Collins Clifford.
Collins Clifford, is he in my one-on-one coaching program?
Yes, sir, I believe
Collins,
so.
don't assume, Joshua.
Collins Clifford is not
Collins
in the
is so Collins is a real estate developer. He used to work with us in our in our construction department, and of
Oh,
course left and started his business, and he's doing very well. So
So we
indirectly
have
is a
Mr.
D because at least he
we have
learned
Mr.
more of real
Joel.
estate from me. But indirectly, he has not paid for one-on-one mentee.
Voila.
enjoying it, but hasn't paid, which is frustrating because if somebody has benefited from you, now that he's making money, Yoruba says that when okete is grown, a particular bush meat, it sucks
Uh,
the children's milk. So now that I'm supposed to be enjoying from people like Collins, having worked with me, started his business, doing so well, he has refused to pay for mentorship. So he's been
voila.
enjoying mentorship by proxy. He will just show up in my retreats. He knows I can't chase
Yeah, so
him.
that was where I met him.
I know. I know that's why you thought he is. He will just show up. He knows we can't chase him away. So let him come and defend himself. I'll pull him up anyway. Let him introduce. So I wanted to have a feel with those who are my one-on-one mentorship before we get started in today's class. It's going to be a very detailed training about how to expand your business in the US. I really want to see people grow. I want to see a lot of my mentees be able to expand. And we're going to be really, really looking into that. So put on your video if I've made you a panelist. Kindly put on your video as we have you. Hey, Mo of the Most High God. Mayowa Owolabi, how are you?
I'm great, sir. Thank you so much for what you do. Pumped up to be here. My name is Mayowa Owolabi.
How you doing? How is business?
Amazing, sir. Working on the numbers as usual.
As usual.
Yes, coach.
Okay, good. What will you say? I mean, you are my, how do I put it now? Mayowa is my, how do I put it? I'm looking for the word. If you would say mentee on day one, right? Even though it's not the mentee on day one, but if you say mentee on day one, I would say it's Mayowa, because it's 9 years now, consistently so. So from digital marketing, and recently you've expanded to real estate. So what will you say about being able to have access to me as a one-on-one mentor? And I think this will help those who are not yet, mentees who have sneaked into this meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
So at least give them an idea.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. I think for me, is understanding what leadership is all about. That leadership is all about, number one, having an understanding of three basic things. Number one, where you're going, taking ownership, having accountability, and submission. So a lot of time, people just want to be a leader. They don't want to be accountable to anybody. So, and I identified this early in life, and I discovered that people cannot do more than they have the capacity to deliver on. And to be able to expand your capacity, you have to identify somebody who has those traits that can help you to be able to move faster. So for me, that is where Dr. Stephen came in. And because I knew where I was going, and I didn't want to do a lot of research, I just needed a pattern to follow. And when I saw that in Dr. Stephen, it made a lot of sense to me. And all I did was took time to study those patterns. And right now, I'm implementing them. So if this is your first time, I'll tell you that, do you understand what leadership is? Are you interested in finding a ready-made pattern or template you can follow? Then no brainer for you. You need to be in the SA mentorship group, because apart from you getting the pattern to work with, Dr. Stephen is also somebody that would naturally stretch you. The last session we had, it was as if when I was coming with my PA, I told him, I said, I should not just report myself. Let me just hear what he wants to say. Because Dr. Stephen will naturally allow you to give the report and you are smiling, you are blushing as if you are doing well. Then he will now come out. He will dissect your business and he will tell you what is missing. And everybody needs that, because before you can move into the ownership space, you need to take responsibility and you need to take accountability, very important, before somebody can give you that ownership position that you want. So for me, I'm interested in the ownership position. That is why I've chosen to take responsibility and be accountable to someone who can help. So I feel everyone listening to me right now needs to leverage on that system which Dr. Stephen has made available, so that somebody can stretch you, somebody can tell you what you need to do, and the journey will be simpler and we're good to go. So for me, it's a 9 years of amazing growth. Amazing growth. When I mean amazing, like amazing growth for me. And I can't mice my words to the possibilities of what I've been able to achieve in the past 8 to 9 years. So that's my part. Everybody, you need to be on this ship to make things work for yourself. Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I have Clifford. So yeah, Clifford, are you there? Benedict, how are you today?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How you doing?
Well, I'm well, sir, and we're grateful.
Beautiful, beautiful. So how has it been? I think, when did you join the one-on-one mentorship?
I joined the one-on-one mentorship last year, middle of last year, around February. Okay, beginning of last year, 2023, to around February, March, and I can say it's been like I think I mirror what is happening, how you lead, and how you develop, and I mirror it in what we are doing here, and it's been exponential. So practically, I could say the other time, 2 weeks ago, I went on a retreat with the top management level in my company, and we came back from retreat last week, and it was a worthy investment, and we are doing so more like I mirror what you're doing and I do it. So it's easier. Our cash flow is good. When we have issues, which is normal with what we do, that can lead to dragging, I tend to have a tougher skin now, and I report the people myself. I had a client, one of the biggest clients we had, Top Shot. We are relocating him. I had to even go to his office to tell him on his face, sir, you have not met me before, but you bought from my company and we're going to relocate you. And to me, I wouldn't have done that if not that there were some certain things I learned from the retreat, and how you constantly say that if things don't go well, that you tell the people ahead. So it's been that. And so I think that's it. I would do mirroring technique. That's what I would say.
Wow. I'm happy to hear that. And you are one of I want to give guys. So you see, it's good to mentor people, but it's important to also have mentees who have your back, because let's be honest, there is nothing, with all due respect, any one of you will give me that I can't give myself. But I learned many years ago that you can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving, right? And what this taught me is the fact that, people that really care will give. I remember when we were starting our first project and we're trying to raise funds, Benedict was one of those who reached out and said, I don't yet have enough funds to invest, but I am sowing $1,000 into this project. So can you help me celebrate him? Because that's really humbling, and I want to thank him for doing that. Okay, because that really touched me. And I can mean it, it touched me because that was from the heart. Okay, Olabi Enoch is the next person. Go ahead, Olabi.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Olabi Enoch. I met Doctor last year, I think towards late last year. And I also signed up for his one-on-one mentorship last year. It was one of the biggest, or let me say, the best decision I ever made in my entire business journey. Because ever since then, I've seen a switch and change from being somebody without a genuine result, from being somebody that doesn't really have a track record, and all of a sudden, with my few meeting with him one-on-one, and by leveraging on his experience and knowledge, it has really speed up my growth, and it has allowed me to see the world of real estate development in entire different way. Ever since then, I've been seeing him as my role model, and always before I make any significant decision, even without seeing him or asking him, I always try to think that if he's the one that is trying to do this, how will he approach this matter? Sometimes I also reach out to Doctor's PA to seek advice, and it has really helped me and speed up my journey entirely. And to that, I will forever be grateful to Doctor. Thank you, sir. Sir, you're muted.
Yeah, I said you're welcome and congrats on your successes.
Thank you,
You
sir.
are looking fresh up in recent time. What's going on?
It's money.
It's making money, that's why. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Mohammed Dago, how are you? You need to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Yes, I've done that already. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome to Abuja. I've just had you landed.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't aware you are coming this time around. I wanted to surprise you.
You should hold Joshua accountable.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. I'll give him query for that because
please.
he took me unaware. Welcome, sir.
Your experience, with mentorship from me.
For me, I think first of all, I would say thank you again and again and again. I will not get tired of appreciating your work. I mean, your mentorship to our own generation. Personally, for me, your mentorship has actually changed my perspective generally in business. And one of the things you usually say in your videos, in your story, and I've also used that as part of my own motivating factor, is the why one is in business. Why are you running business in the first place? Right. So that has actually been one of the big part, or one of the things that actually changed the whole narrative of my business, because I now see business in a very, very big perspective, and I don't see anything impossible in the business aspect again. And I actually learned that from you. And then the part of your honor, like you love to honor people around you, no matter the level they are to you. You love to honor people who are below you. And I see that you also honor people above you. There's so much to learn. But for me, one of them that stood out is the why, and then the part of leadership. How to lead people, how to also actually appreciate people who are around you. So much to say, but just this little, sir. This is the mentorship that actually changed the whole thing about me. I keep saying.
Oh, I think Mohammed's network is bad. But we have the first female in the house. I think Joshua, we need to work to have more females in this mentorship. Right. So, peace,
Yes.
Mercy, how are you? You need to unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. So share your testimony with us.
Okay, I always like to say thank you for the opportunity because for me, I believe that there's just some things you cannot say this is what money bought for you, no matter whatever form of sacrifice that you have made to, make whatever funds available to be in that room. There are just some things that you cannot quantify with money. So it's just an opportunity to have someone who is in that space where you want to get to, and then this person is constantly, breaking limiting beliefs. This person is constantly doing things and showing you that it's possible for you to get those things done. Sometimes when the feelings of how disappointing, negative surprises of business can be, and your video just pops up in my feed. Sometimes I go to your page and I'm like, I think this person has posted like maybe 4 times and it's not even 1 o'clock yet. What are you tired of? So that is just a constant reminder for me that you're not even doing anything at all. So it's I still say I'm starstruck. I know you've always asked me why I'm starstruck, but I'm still starstruck. And I would say that it's always a privilege for me to, every time I have to send a message, come see you. It's such a big privilege. Sometimes the times I've been, I've had those physical meetings with you. I always leave with a very, very clear head. It's like you just see, okay, this is what you want to do, the whole confused states, and the way you just peg everything together, and you have someone living with, okay, go and do this, go and do that, and you just make it not look you've helped me see that it's not surprising to have bad days or to have things not go your way in business. You just have to find how to take advantage of even the things that may seemingly look like bad days and all that. So the opportunity, the privilege, the relationship is one that I can never, even if you take your mentorship to 50K, I can never quantify it with money. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, and thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate them. One of the things I admire about you is your ability to give feedback of the impact of the mentorship. You regularly send a message to say thank you for this session, thank you for that, and I think it's very, very important. I appreciate that so well. I want to
Thank you
say
so much, sir.
you're welcome. Let me say that okay, Mohammed needs to wrap up, then I get started for today. Okay, we're gonna have a great time today by the grace of God. Yeah, Mohammed, finish up.
Sorry, my network tripped up at some point. So like I was saying, the whole mentorship has actually broadened my mind. I don't see anything impossible again. Like nothing actually is too big for my mind to conceive right now as it stands. So I go for whatever my mind is up to, and I just bring it down. And then the fact again is you actually instill that mindset in me. Anytime I come to present my results to you, with excitement in me, I'm happy that I'm presenting a good result. I've done something great. And the way you just analyze, but this is bad, Mohammed. And the whole team will just, oh my God, I have to go back again. Like my team will be praising me. Oh, boss, we really done well. You are doing amazing. You are this and that. But anytime I go to doctor, we just say, Mohammed, what is this? This is a bad result. You can do better than this. So that alone has actually put me on my toll, and I sincerely appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mohammed. You're welcome. Okay.
Good evening, sir. Apologies for not saying something earlier. I was actually on the road, and I'm still on Jordan Road. Good evening, everyone. My name is Colin Clifford. I'm a property developer, and I'm like an extension of GTech, but you know, yeah. So I actually got into real estate through Dr. Steven, who is my boss, who is still my boss and also my mentor. Though I am not in the inner mentorship circle of Dr. Steven, but I am also there in some. I see myself as part of GTech. So even though that I am not here with him all the time, we don't talk all the time, but the impact, the little time I spent with him when I was working with GTech did a lot for me. And the biggest thing I learned from Dr. Steven is taking risks. If I tell you the kind of risk I've taken, right? I copied the way he took risk. I just did copy and paste, and it worked for me. It worked for me. Right? And even till today, I'm still taking risks. Very serious one that you be like, do you even know what you are doing? But because of the confidence that Dr. Steven has, whenever he's doing something, he believes that he will succeed. There is nothing like maybe I may not. He's sure that he will succeed. Even when I'm not surprised when I saw him expanding to the US, I was like, this is the truth is that in the next 5 years, we will keep getting surprised because we're going to be seeing more and more things that Dr. Steven will be doing that you'll be like, how is he doing all these things, right? So that is what I admire about him. And anytime I see his video, yeah, I'll be like, once I see his video, I see who I want to be. Even though I have my own will I say priorities, that's kind of different from his, but at the same time, I have a lot. I learn a lot from him, right? So what I'm going to tell everyone here is that Dr. Steven is a blessing to this generation. I'm a witness because before I joined GTech, I didn't know any single thing about real estate. That was in 2020, and today I have about 4 different estates, and I'm currently building bungalows. By December I'll finish about 6 units of bungalows fully completed, right? So and at the same time, when it comes to assets, I have asset worth over 2 billion unsold property, and this is a business I started with zero in naira, not even like 5 million times zero. So the same spirit, the same confidence that Dr. Steven used to start his business to to push in real estate is what I carried, and I kept pushing, even though there were serious challenges. And the truth is that I used to see almost the same thing that I faced the same thing that Dr. Steven used to face then, because I was working with him. I used to go to site to face a lot of things in the site. So the same thing I was seeing that was happening then was also happening to me. And the way he was able to maneuver, most of the things he did was the same thing I was also doing, and it was working for me. right? So me, I believe, so sometimes I feel like I don't even want to keep. Sometimes I say, okay, sometimes I feel that what I've learned from savings, right? I've not even been able to do half, as in half, 1% of what I've learned from Dr. Steven. I feel I don't have, I cannot be like him because Dr. Steven is like everything. You understand? He's like everything. When it comes to multitasking, he can do 10,000 things at the same time and still succeed. To be honest, I cannot. so, but at the same time, so the little I'm able to do now is just is like, let me say, the Bible says, give us a measure of your spirit. God, we pray for God to just cut more spirit and give us. So the small that He gave me is the one I'm using to do what I'm doing. I'm going to do a lot more with it. So I really appreciate Dr. Steven.
Congratulations. Thank you
I
for
want to tell you
that.
that I appreciate you. I am not, like you said, I'm not. I'm just. I would say. I wouldn't say that.
Don't
Doctors have not
worry.
appreciated
You are.
right, but
I
I have a
mean,
lot of
haven't worked with me. Of course, you're a mentee of mine. You just haven't officially, put into
yes.
team that we're doing. But I'm proud of what you're doing. Um, how many people get to have people work with them, and after they left them, they're able to start their own business from what they learned and are doing very well. I think it's a testament to your own commitment, your own hard work, but it's also a testament to the fact that you were mentored well and taught well when you were with us. So congratulations, and I wish you a lot more good news and more successes, okay? I don't know why Oge put off our video because I highlighted her here. Incidentally, she recommended that we should do this. So I wanted her to just share a few thoughts she had in her mind. She reached out to me and said she wanted us to do a ball for all my mentees. And she was like, if you have solid mentees, many of them are doing very well. It will be good to bring them all together and, share and have some experiences. And I said, well, that is something good, but let's test it, with a webinar. Okay. And see how that goes. So today's webinar is supposed to share with you a few things we're doing in the US, how we're doing it, how you can do yours, just a few ideas. And of course, some of you then need my support. I then can still provide that for you. And we'll look at how I'm hoping Joshua Ogena can coordinate this because she said she wanted to coordinate it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm always open to trying new things. When people give me good advice, I want to see it out and see how it works. So why are we here, Oge? In 1 minute so I can get into today's class.
Perfect. So thank you very much, sir, for being amazing. I'm sure I speak for every other person on this platform when I say we love you, we appreciate you, and may God keep, protect, and sustain and multiply you. So we're here today, of course, as your mentees. I did not say amen.
Amen.
Amen. So we're here today as your mentees and as your disciples, people who love what you do. And again, some people here, some amazing people here are people who had attended the real estate masterclass. And thank you so much, beautiful people, for being here. So as Doctor has stated clearly, we're here for two reasons. One, of course, to learn from the Odogo of real estate himself. And secondly, I just thought to myself that, look, with the little experience I've had with the gentlemen and ladies I have met within the Dr. Stephen Akintayo circle, I'm like, we are a solid group of people, oh. Some of us here have done business with me already. In less than a couple of months, I know how much money we have made and how much value we have exchanged. And I said, okay, so end of the year, how about we all come together and have a ball, a premium dinner, somewhere in the heart of Lagos, for those in Lagos, and for those of us in Abuja, somewhere in the heart of Abuja. Underline premium. So Mr. Joshua and myself are still dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And anybody who knows me, you know now. I am energy. I am energy and I'm value. So be rest assured that it is going to be a once in a lifetime experience. We are going to have fun. We are going to wine. We are going to dine. But most importantly, we are going to network, because 2025, I need everybody here to be triple what they are right now. Okay? Yes. So to the business of today, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to a webinar on how to start real estate development and investment in America. And today, Dr. Stephen Akintayo is going to give us step-by-step rudiments on how we would, one, register our company, two, be law-abiding by following the law guiding real estate in the United States of America, three, how we can set up an operational office, four, how we can source for the right investment, five, how we can handle immigration to the US for you and your leadership and perhaps your family, six, how to access institutional investment. I know my businessmen will like that. How to access institutional investment in the US for up to 85% funding. And last but not least, how GTEX Holdings USA can support your expansion drive. So everyone whom I contacted personally, I'm sure you already have this note because I shared the flyers with you. So this is the time to get your pen and paper ready while I hand over the podium to Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Ogena Walter Ekuberi. You know, what's funny is how yourself and Mercy, these are two ladies who are here. I don't know why Busara is not here. You love people pronouncing your three names. Mercy loves peace, Mercy, you know. And then sometimes it's the third name we all struggle with. You know, the same thing with you, okay, now Walter, that one is easy.
Ekubiri.
It's the yeah, I pronounced by the time we get to the third one, you know.
You say, Egbami.
So,
I think it's mainly women who love their fathers.
oh, okay, is that it?
Yes, because it's a compound name, like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
I love my surname too being called. It's Ebodage. It's not that hard, sir.
Ebodage, yes, okay. But it's either way, it's good to have everyone here, and thank you so much for joining. Let me start by playing my short profile.
Dr. Stephen Akintayo is Africa's most influential investment coach. He is a member of the Forbes Business Council and a recipient of several prestigious awards, including the Forbes Best of Africa, Leading Investment Coach and Real Estate Mogul by Forbes Best of Africa Award. He is the chairman of GTEX Holdings and the founder of Stephen Akintayo Foundation. GTEX Holdings is the mother company of 11 subsidiaries with a highly innovative and young workforce. These subsidiaries include GTEX Homes, GTEX Land, Stephen Akintayo Foundation, GVest, GTEX Farms, GTEX and Associates, GTEX Academy, GTEX Soft, GTEX Hub. GTEX Holdings has several branches in Nigeria, which include Lagos State, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Asaba, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Other offices are in Dubai, the UK, and the US, and the company plans to extend operations to other African countries like Ghana, Rwanda, and Uganda. Dr. Akintayo Real Estate Firm has a plan to build 25,000 green and smart homes with golf courses, polo clubs, mall, hotel, hospitals, schools, and universities across Africa by the year 2035, and control another set of 25,000 properties outside of Africa, with a total real estate asset worth $40 billion by the year 2035. Dr. Stephen Akintayo is also the host of the Global Property Brokers Conference, the largest brokers conference in Africa, now renamed the Global Wealth Festival. Several renowned speakers like Grant Cardone, Ryan Serhant, Dr. John Maxwell, and others have been brought on the platform. Dr. Akintayo has hosted some of the world's most renowned speakers on his platforms like Robert Kiyosaki, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Dan Locke, Toby and Tomi Arayomi, Toby Adegboyega, and several others. He is the host of the Investment Chat in a Rolls-Royce, which teaches people about different investment opportunities around the globe. Learning Luxury Show, a show that educates on the benefits of owning luxury and monetizing it, and Big Talk Show, aimed at enlightening youths and the general public on election-related issues in order to build the new Nigeria. He is also the host of the Billionaire Habits podcast, Burj Khalifa series in Dubai. You can watch them on the Billionaire Habits podcast. Dr. Stephen is also the author of 42 books. His latest are The Billionaire Habits for Pastors, Billionaire Habits for Entrepreneurs, and Becoming a Billionaire Land Banker. All his books can be found in Dr. Stephen's books. To book him for speaking engagements, email ejstephenakintayo.com and contact the number on your screen for more inquiries.
Okay, welcome once again, everyone. This was a few clips. I think we're more than this from our last retreat. So if for all of you who are one-on-one mentees, one of the projects we have for you is a regular retreat. So the retreat is not a one-time thing. It's something we do almost every quarter. The last one was in May in Ghana, and the next one is in Cameroon. We're having the CEO of Nine Mobile. We're having the CEO of UBA Cameroon. We have several other top dignitaries that are being invited who are going to be speaking. I promise it's going to be one of the best ones we've organized. And we're targeting leaders who are handling international businesses that are running to multi-billion dollars. Nine Mobile, as you know, was started by Etisalat. It's a multi-billion-dollar telecommunication company. And this is their new CEO who now runs the business and trying to revive it. And he's going to be giving you some really deep dive into, and he's run global businesses. In fact, Nine Mobile is the first business in Nigeria that he will be running. Most of his other businesses have been way outside Nigeria. And we have several speakers like that are going to be coming. And it will be an experience to enjoy Cameroon to its finest. We're having people from ministries, different sector of the Cameroonian business and public life coming as well. So don't miss it for anything. So let's get started into today's class. First of all, you want to start your business in the United States. I will state the first thing is to try to register your company, okay? You want to try and have a registered company. I think you want to start there. And the reason is because the developed world respects your company more than they respect you. And if possible, guys, I'd like you to be commenting as I'm talking. Just be dropping keynotes. Let me say that again. In the developed world, they respect your company more than they respect you. How many of you, for example, do this a lot in Africa, where most of us in Africa, come on, confess your sins now, always prefer people paying money into our personal accounts than the corporate account because of tax, right? Now, reverse is the case in America, okay? You are able to reduce your tax liability through your company than through you as an individual. I always joke and say, in America or UK or Canada, they see you as a commodity. You're actually a human real estate asset to them, okay? When Western government look at human being, they see you as an asset or a liability. And this is one of the reasons why they prefer skilled immigrants to come to their country. This is the reason why when you die, if you don't put certain measures in place, are you aware that the government has the right to take over 100% of your assets in some countries? In some other countries, up to 60% of what you left behind. Okay, if your asset is at a level. So they really see you as just a real estate commodity. But your business, on the other hand, is highly respected. So I'll give you an example. Are you aware that your personal credit may not be able to afford certain real estate business in the US or UK or Canada? But guess what? Your new company, right, qualify. I don't know if you're aware of that. If you're aware, tap them, or if you're not aware, tap them not aware. That certain properties that you as an individual will not qualify for, your company qualifies for it. Right? So there are certain times you want to buy property in developed world, they will say, well, you needed to have stayed for a certain number of years. Your credit limit has to be to certain level. And they give you all these number of stories, right? But if you then apply to buy the same company, the same property as a registered company, okay, suddenly you qualify. So business registration, very, very critical in doing business in developed world, and do not joke with it. In fact, I argue that is the beginning for you. So United States real estate is one of the largest. In fact, real estate in US is actually the largest in the world. China is trying to take over, but China is currently going through an economic tough time. So US real estate market is the largest in the world. Residential, single-family homes, apartment, condos. Number two, commercial aspect of real estate, industrial, like warehouses, manufacturing, agriculture, farm, land, ranches is a major big business. In fact, there's so much incentive for farmers in America. America treats their farmers like kings and queens. Too much incentives. Anything to just support you. They lower taxes for you. There's unique type of loan for you. Just keep doing agriculture as far as they're concerned. Then you have hospitality real estate in form of hotels and resorts and so on and so forth. So when registering your company, you have to be specific. What type of real estate are you going to be doing with that business? Right? In America, for example, you can own as many companies as possible. In fact, you can register 100 companies, 200 companies that one man owns. No problem with that. But it's always good that each real estate company has a specific registered company, has a specific real estate business they're doing. So for example, for us, GTEx, our land banking business is registered differently from our multifamily business. And it's registered differently from the holding business. Registered differently. In fact, some of each estate in US have its own registered company for each property we buy. Okay, so you want to take that seriously. So let's look at key statistics. Why USA? You have 43 trillion in real estate market value, right? Give me any other country that has that volume. Number two, home ownership rate is around 65%. When you hear American Dream, one of the key indicators of whether you enjoy American Dream or not is, do you own a house? So every American wants to own their house. They've made it such that owning your house is the beginning of the definition of American Dream. I don't know whether the video of my own house is here, but at some point I'll try and see if I can pull it off for you. But believe it or not, even yours truly, okay, started by buying my house. It's over $1 million. But that's how it works in America. Your house is like your identity, right? Everybody wants to own a house. Unlike in some other parts of the world where owning a house is luxury, is difficult. In America, everybody owns a property. And so what does that mean? Can anybody guess what this means? Because when I say everybody owns a property, what does it mean to you as a person doing real estate business? Does anybody want to help me with that? What does it mean? You can type the answer, you can mute yourself. So I'm sure you know the reason why we're having that conversation in the first place. I think mortgage will be very attractive. Chisom, Damilola says, is a ready market for purchase. Yes, Damilola, you are very close to it. Why this matters to you, it means it's a market, a huge market for you, right? Because if you are building or investing in real estate, commercial real estate, in other words, you are doing real estate so that you can make money from it, and you are not dealing in a country where they do not believe in putting their money into real estate, right? It means you will build and people will not be able to buy, or they will not be able to afford. Like in Nigeria, you know what that problem is. That sometimes you even build houses in Nigeria and you are not able to get people who can afford it, right? So the beauty of America is that affordability is not an issue, consumer behavior is not an issue. Everybody already wants to own a property anyway. So it doesn't matter how many properties you develop, you always get people to buy it because of course, access to mortgage, which is very true. Average home price is between 275 according to Below. Commercial property value at 15 trillion. Foreign investors in the US, can you believe that? As at 2020 is 153 billion. So aside people in the US who are always wanting to own their property, can you believe it that you also have a huge demand from people who are just visiting, and yet, or people who are not Americans, but yet they want to invest, they want to own their property, and they're always bringing their money in billions of dollars. So step one, choose a business structure when you are registering your business. Is it going to be a sole proprietorship? Is it going to be a partnership? Is it going to be a limited liability company, LLC? Most of my companies are LLC. Or is it going to be corporation? Okay. Corporations usually have, multiple, types. Even LLC, you have what we call Series LLC. So if you know, you will still have some other ones under you. So you call it what we call Series LLC. Corporation is also that there are many more other companies under that corporation. Step two, choose a business. So conduct a name search, ensure the name is available, register it with the Secretary of State. Now, let me stop there. Okay, so we don't go further. I advise you get a professional to help you do your company registration. I can recommend who does it for me. And all of you are my mentees, you can reach out to me. Very, very important. I used to register my company by myself years ago. I've been in the US market for a while until this new $200 million expansion. And I realized that I was making so much mistakes. I couldn't even file the business. Every year you are supposed to be doing annual return. There are so many filings you need to do in the US. You need to get your EIN. Your EIN is like your company tax identification number. So when you look at the cumbersome process, it's better to get a professional, pay the person, and they will register it for you. Good news, you do not need to be in the US to register your company. Are you also aware? You do not need to have even traveled to US to have a company in the US, right? In other words, I may never have visited US before, and I can register my company in US. So how many of you are happy to know that, first of all? So that some of you, as early as tomorrow, you can go and register your company. And I advise you do that because you never know. I give you an example of an opportunity I missed. So I registered my first company, I think 2015 in the US. But because of this problem that I told you, where I registered myself, because I did use professionals. After 1 year, it shuts down because they expect you to file every year. If you don't file every year, it's as good as your company is dead. Now, COVID-19 came 2020. Guys, I used to have about 4 different companies. Are you aware? I would have made, loan that I don't need to pay back. Okay, averagely, because each of my company could have easily gotten $150,000 as a loan that I don't need to pay back. Everybody type $150,000 loan I can write off. In other words, your mentor could have gotten $600,000 cash for doing nothing. If I remember one of my mentors in US during COVID, reach out to me. Stephen, is any of your companies still active? Jim Begbowo, let me help you make money. I was like, I have not done filing in like 3 years or so. Say, yay. He was even ready. Why he's even telling me that being a lawyer, he charges, I think, between 10 to 20% of the loan he's able to help you collect. But honestly, get a professional to register your business because you will never know at any time. There are just incentives, there are just opportunities. And once your business is in good standing, we call it good standing in America. In other words, proper filing, proper updates of your records, you can always just hear an announcement by government trying to stimulate a sector, and you qualify to be stimulated, and money is coming your way. How many of you are happy to hear this? Okay? Again, if you're happy, type I am happy. So register with the Secretary of State. Like I told you, all these get professionals to do it for you. Obtain license and permits in the case where it's needed. So somebody talked about real estate brokerage. In America, you can't just be a real estate broker except you have a permit. So you need to do a real estate exam, with the states you want to operate in, and then you apply for, and then you have a real estate agency permit or real estate brokerage permit. For brokerage, you need to have spent 10 years or so, depending on states, as an agent before you can upgrade to a broker. Because as a broker, you can have many agents working under you. Then register with IRS. Somebody asked, what's the difference between ITIN and what was the question again? Did anybody see the question? I want to be sure whether somebody saw the question. Somebody asked a question about the difference between EIN and ITIN. So EIN is your company's tax identification number, right? Enterprise income, whatever number. I don't even know the full meaning of EIN, but it's your number to identify your company as eligible for tax. And you cannot open a corporate account without having an EIN for your company. While ITIN is not TIN. TIN is used in Nigeria. ITIN is a personal tax identification for non-US residents. So if you are not living in the US, but you own businesses in the US, it's wisdom for you to get an ITIN, as it's a personal identification number for you who you are not fully resident in the US. In other words, you don't have social security number, okay? Because once you have a social security number, your ITIN is replaced with your social security number. Again, are we learning for learning type? I'm learning, guys. Talk to me. So number 6, obtain real estate commission approval. Now, this doesn't occur to every state. Now, let me secure insurance. So, for example, if you are having an office, you have to, have insurance for your office. I mean, there are so many laws to every single thing that you do in the US. It's very regulated. This is not Nigeria. For you to even have an office, you must have insurance for that office. Do you believe that? Right? Else, if anything even goes wrong, you're in trouble. Okay, because you didn't have insurance, right? Obtain local business license. Again, this is not applying to every city in the US. So I want to ask you a question. Who can guess 2 good cities in the US for you to do real estate right now? Because it's not all the states in the US that are good for real estate business. So can anybody type in the chat box, what are the states in the US you think, oh, I want to do real estate in these states. I want to, expand. Somebody say Texas and Oklahoma. Okay. Which other states? Okay, because you have to be sure of which state you're going to. The first state I had in mind that I wanted to open our company in, because of course I was looking at it from that angle of, yes, I like the city. It was my kind of city. Someone say Houston and Dallas. I'm talking of states, not city, right? Someone say Washington, D.C. And thank God, and that's why you need to have mentorship, right? And you need to have support. And I think it was Grant Cardone that I finally learned from, that state was the terrible state to ever invest in. I was like, Jesus, I would have, if I was almost registering my business, I even had visited a location I wanted to use for office space in that state, without knowing that it was the worst city or state to do real estate business, right? Okay, I've seen some of you type, others are quiet. Someone say Massachusetts, someone say Virginia, North Carolina. Somebody say Miami. Miami is not a state. Florida is a state. Okay. So I can see several names, but my choice, somebody say California, Texas and California. Are you aware California is no? Are you aware in California, somebody can boggle your business, and as long as what they stole is not up to $1,000, they are free. So in other words, 20 people can boggle your business and take item worth $800 or $900, and you cannot do anything to them. You cannot even arrest them. Are you aware, guys? And it's legal in California. America is crazy. That's why you can't just pick a state and just say, I'm just going to do business in America. You better know what you're into. Right? Somebody say New York. New York is a no. That was the city I wanted to go, without knowing that was a no. Literally, New York is almost intentionally, New York and California intentionally frustrate people from doing real estate in those cities. They believe that big corporations are the reasons why real estate is expensive, and they intentionally want to frustrate you. Okay, so Delaware, so my 2 pick is Texas and Florida. That is where everybody's going to. In fact, I just had a meeting with somebody that is likely to come in as the new CEO of GTEX Homes USA. I've known him over 9 years now. His name is Matthew Stewart. And his family, they all live in California, and he was saying the wife just resigned. I told him, you know what, we need to leave California, right? Maybe we'll go to Florida. So Florida and Texas are good. Now, why? The tax is good. More people are coming to those cities. I focused more on Texas because of the hurricane level in Florida, right? Of course, with insurance, once the insurance is over, you can get back again with your business in Florida. So I mean, hurricane is normal to Florida, and people have built, capacity for it. They've, of course, worked with different insurance companies to always end up paying whatever you lost, and you're back on your feet again. Okay, but people love Florida. But I love Texas because all the big companies in California are moving to Texas. Last year, over 500 people moved to Texas. This year is projected to be almost a million people. These people need houses. Remember, we told you earlier, 65% of Americans have their own house. So it's a big deal, right? So expanding to Texas means there is a lot of money to be made. Let me pause and ask, is this class helpful for you guys? Are you learning? Is this good, information? I'll be sure that you consider this a good information for you. You think this is good information that will help you in your journey as you consider expanding your business. Okay? Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Everybody says good. They are enjoying it. There's so much value. Well, I'm happy to know this is helpful for you guys. Okay? Really, really happy. So let's go on. So let's look at market trends. In many urban areas across the US, rents have been what? Rising constantly, providing opportunity for higher returns. So these are the reasons why you should consider real estate. High demands, Gen Zs looking for affordable homes. Suburban growth is also key. Once COVID-19 hits, people didn't want to live in an apartment anymore. People are looking for single family home to live in. They want space. Financing option. There are a lot of government-backed loan. There's private equity, and there's what we call syndication. All of these help the real estate business in that part of the world. So I'll give you an example. When you want to do real estate in America, you need to just raise 30% of the money of the real estate. In other words, even if you are not a US citizen and you want to start investing in real estate, once it's commercial, and the definition of commercial does not mean people are using the house for commercial. It means you are getting more than one property, and the goal is to be able to make money from that property. That's what they call commercial in the US. And once it's a commercial real estate, all you will need is to raise 30% of the money. You will be able to get 70% from either government or we call them institutional investors like private equity firm. Now, the question is, how do you raise your own 30%? Can people type here, for those of you who want to expand to the US? What are the areas you want to use to raise your 30%? Let's say you're buying this property for $20 million, right? It then simply means you need to raise $6 million. $14 million will be given to you by institutional investors. They don't need to like your face. Once you meet up the criteria, you have 14 million just like that. It's automatic, guys. And that's what I love about real estate in US. 14 million, you've gotten it. So what you need to raise is your 30%. So since all of us here are trying to expand to the US, I want you to type in the chat box, how do you intend to raise 30% of your own counterpart funding or loan to value ratio for your real estate expansion in the US? Chisom says friends and family, so he wants to leverage on goodwill. Joel says other people's money and other existing businesses. Okay, so you are using some leveraging on other investors and then some from your other businesses. Damilola says equity investors. Okay, so Damilola means, he will gather people and offer them an equity of the business. In other words, they can buy 1% of the business, 2% of the business, 10% of the business, 0.1% of the business. And with that money they have paid for an equity, he then uses to buy property. Somebody say OPM. Define how you're going to go about the OPM. We know it's other people's money, but how? Okay, how are you going to do that? Because this is a major reason a lot of people can expand. When people hear I'm doing $200 million project. Many of them have been cracking their brain without knowing that I'm only raising 30% of the money. The remaining 70% of that 200 million is already provided for. Okay, and can somebody type the 30% of 200 million for me quickly? What is the 30% of 200 million? Come on, we're in business class here. Okay, and we should be quick with figures and numbers, because you're going to do real estate, you have to know your numbers and be good with your numbers, and quickly on your feet, you're coming up with your numbers. So I've already raised a good number of that. So in the next 2 years, all I'm raising is $60 million. The remaining $140 million is, I already have the investors, in fact, there are many begging to give me the remaining $140 million. So my job is to raise the $60 million. Now remember, because I'm also now a US resident, I am able to even drop this to 30 million. In other words, instead of 30%, for some of the deals, I can decide to only go in with 15%. To say I'm only going to be doing 15%, right? And that means I'm only raising what? 30 million. And I will get the remaining, ladies and gentlemen, 170 million from the government. How many of you think this is cool? And this can only happen in America. Of course, you know, in the UK, but more regulations. It's not as easy as you can access funding. America has the best funding in real estate more than any other country in the world. So again, how many of you are excited about the funding opportunity that America real estate offers you that you hardly will get anywhere else? Okay, so for those of you who have mentioned the various funding model, I will tell you towards the end the funding model I'm using, and you can be part of that as well. You know, and it's a good one, and you can replicate that as well. So laws guiding real estate in the US, we have federal law, fair housing. It prohibits discrimination in housing based on religion, color, race, national. So you can't start real estate now and say, I only sell my property to Nigerians or Africans. Well, you can be sued, and you can lose all your assets and be in debt because of that. Civil rights, okay? Civil rights, you know, prohibit discrimination of housing based on, again, color, gender, race. America disability requires accessibility in public and commercial spaces. So you must structure your construction such that disabled people can access it, else somebody can sue you and you're in trouble. Okay, real estate settlement procedure, 1974, regulates real estate transaction, including disclosure requirements. So you need to disclose everything disclosable. Interstate land sales, Full Disclosure Act, require disclosure of interstate land sales. We can go on and on. I'm not sure I have time for that. Then you have state laws, and you must know them, understand them, obey them. You have tax laws. You have real estate transaction law. Okay? So be sure you are not breaching that. You have environmental and safety laws. These are the various types of laws you have to deal with doing real estate in America. You also have financial laws. Okay. Truth in Lending Act regulates loan disclosures. You also have additional laws. Okay. So understand them, study them, and make sure you obey them. Again, is this class helpful? If it's helpful, just type helpful, helpful, helpful. Now, let's look at the states I mentioned that earlier that are more helpful in terms of real estate expansion. Okay. We have something called the Sun Belt region. Sun Belt region. Who can tell me the meaning of Sun Belt region. This is an American term. They call some place Sun Belt region. Can anybody tell me what that means? What are the areas that is called Sun Belt in America? Anyone? Sun Belt. And why are they called Sun Belt? Quickly, guys, talk to me. Talk to me. Sun Belt. Why? No snow. Thank you. Characterized by warm temperatures. So can you give me a few names? Some of you will have seen the expo when I was sharing my screen earlier. Give me a few names of Sunbelt states. Okay. So we have, of course, Florida, Texas, Arizona, right? Huge increasing demands, for multifamily housing. Then you have tech hubs, cities such as Austin, Denver, Raleigh are benefiting from job growth. And because of this job growth is driving a huge demand for housing. And you have the secondary market. So imagine cities like Charlotte, Nashville, Salt Lake City. They are also experiencing a huge real estate boom. So don't just wake up and say you want to do real estate in America. Just pick any state. There has to be data backing your investment decision. So investment strategy, number one, value-added properties, investing in older or underperforming buildings, upgrading them to increase the rent property. That's a core way to do multifamily business in the US. So core to core, core and core plus, acquiring stabilized property in prime location for lower risk, steady income. That's another business model. Another business opportunities is, or type is called opportunity zones, investing in designated areas to benefit from tax incentives and potential long-term capital gain. Wyoming is one of those, right? Wyoming really protects your assets big time. So a lot of corporations are always doing business elsewhere, but their major assets are protected in Wyoming. So the other company they register in other states are under the Wyoming one. Okay, but this is deeper than this. Like I said to someone today, I said I can't share everything on webinars like this. Some of it I have to share with you one-on-one, right? Because webinars like this are sensitive. Anybody else can get the information and I can be quoted and it becomes another issue. So certain information I can't disclose publicly, but one-on-one I can share more. Setting up an operational real estate office. Let's look at, if you've passed all of this, you've registered your company, you know the business you want to do, now you want to set up your office. The first is pre-setup. You do research, which location is good, which location do you want to put your office, what's your budget, what's the size of the office space. Very, very important. Office leasing, you need to know in this part of the world, you might be paying your rent every month, but the lease is minimum 3 years. If you break the lease, there's consequences. So you are tied to that office space for 3 years. And most commercial real estate are like that. So setting up an operational real estate office in the US. License and compliance, there's certain licenses, and make sure you do that. Technology system like CRM. We're about setting up our CRM in the office. In fact, they just sent me a picture of some of the phone lines they just bought for our new office in the US. Staffing and training. All through last week, I was just interviewing people in our US office. Okay, and more training is required now at this phase. Marketing and advertising, developing a marketing plan, online, offline, social media. All these are very, very important as you establish your business. Financial management. Okay, America is not like Nigeria where you are believing God for money. The money needs to be seated somewhere. America is not a place where you start business and you have not kept operational cost for another 3 to 6 months. You will run into trouble. right? So you can't just start your business in America without budgeting, without sound financial planning, without liquidity. Liquidity is cash flow, is everything in America. Okay, so you have to properly structure, and the bills do not wait. You cannot beg them in the name of God. You don't pay your bills, you are thrown out. Launching and growth, so putting up events, conferences, webinars, you have to structure that. Additional tips, developing a strong online presence. So estimated cost of office setup, it can be as high from 10,000 to 50,000, depend on the space and size of the office. Licensing and compliance can be another 5 to 20,000. Technological system can be another 5 to 20,000, depending on how big the office is. Staffing and training, another 20 to 100,000. Yes, you have to invest a lot in training your staff. Marketing and advertising, another 10 to 50,000. Estimated cost is running to between 50 to 250,000. Cost carrying varies on location, operations, and things like that. Okay, before I go into sourcing for the right deals, any questions so far before I get into the next phase of this training? Any questions so far? Any questions so far?
So we have two hands up. Can we put them up
Yeah, sure.
with your permission?
Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So sorry, in the Q&A session, we have a question from Chistone Olisemika. The person said, on the average, sir, what do you think it would cost to register a real estate office, inclusive of getting professionals to file? I think you have just addressed that, sir.
Yeah, I think I've kind of given an idea. The typical registration of your business depends on the professional helping you, but normally you can register your business yourself, average of between $100 and $200, depending, and it's something you can do online. But like I said, it's better to work with a professional. So some of those professionals can charge as high as between $500 to $1,000 per company, because they will tell you they will be responsible for filing, they will give you office address, they will give you this, they will do that. So that is also something that is usually a factor. I hope I've answered him fully now.
Yes, you have, sir. Okay, so we have a few hands up, and I'll be calling you. First up, Adedeji Disu. Adedeji Disu, kindly speak. Kindly unmute yourself and speak up, sir. Okay, so I think he or she is not close to the phone. Right, so Mr. Adedeji, I would have to respectfully mute you while I then call on Mr. Desmond Alex. So Mr. Desmond Alex, could you kindly speak up? Kindly unmute yourself and ask your questions precise and straight to the point, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for this great opportunity. I really, really appreciate you. So my question is this: you spoke about how one can be able to bring up 80% of funding of his own, and then the US government or funding institutions will be able to raise 70% for the person to be able to fund their real estate business. So I don't know, what are the procedures for one to apply for this 70% from the government or the funding institutions? Are there specific procedures that are being laid down before one can be able to apply? Are there certain qualifications apart from the 50% that you are bringing from your own part? That's just a question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Desmond, and I would have to lower your hands now. Dr. Stephen, sir, do you want to respond to that, or do you want to take all the questions at once, sir?
So guys, I will just answer this one and then we hold on the remaining question. I'll just rush the remaining of the slide, then we'll now take the rest of the question. So that because if I start taking all of the questions, we won't even be able to finish the slide. But to his question, once you find a good deal that you want to buy, and you get what we call a mortgage broker. That's what I would advise you to get a good mortgage broker. Again, this is why I would advise a lot of you considering expanding US to work with me. The reason is because you will be able to leverage on a lot of the connection I've built over the years. Because America, and developed world practice what we call legal scam. Everybody say legal scam. In other words, when they scam you in America, you cannot go to court. It's legal, it's legit. It's legit. It's not the one you call EFCC. Even the judge will look at you and say, well, because everything, there is contract to it, you sign, right? And except you have an insider helping you, you will not even know what you are signing is either good or bad. Some words sounded good, but they are bad. I'll give you an example. Are you aware it is criminal for anybody to give you a guarantee returns or promise you a guarantee returns in US? So you will see a document now, you want to invest with somebody, and then they say guarantee returns. And then I say correct people. After all, it is signed, it is documented, guarantee. But guess what? Both of you have broken the law, right? Because their laws understands that every investment is a risky decision. That's the way they even want you to put it. And that the person going to it should be aware that they are taking risk, right? And it can work, it may not work. And the disclaimer must be clearly stated, right? And it's just the way the system works. So if you don't really have people who are experienced in your corner in America, you're going to lose big time and you cannot go to court because it was done legally. It's legal. They have the right to have gone through whatever they've done with you the way they did it with you. So yes, the opportunities are there. Yes, the resources are there. Like I said, you want to work with a property brokerage. A mortgage brokerage. But again, the mortgage brokerage must be somebody you can trust, else they can guide you wrongly. And you can end up losing all those properties. Yeah, you got the money, you bought the property, but there are clauses that the mortgage broker did not tell you to look into. And let me tell you this, an average document to buy a house, whether commercial or anything, is like this. Anytime I'm going to close a real estate deal, it's always annoying because it's like you are signing your life away. Tell me how I can read through a document as big as this, guys. Tell me. Right? And it is at the point of signing, you are getting that document. How can you read all through? Right? So even if you got it before the point of signing, there will still be one thing or the other. So and that's why in America, we always tell you when people say, I want to do, let's say, I'm new. Or is it get people you can trust, do deal together first. In other words, somebody is about doing a deal. Go in with him, right? Okay, I will drop 20% of the money needed. Okay, give me whatever equity. Let's go. You see him do the first one, do the second one, do the third one. Gradually, you'll be learning. You'll be seeing how he's doing it. And then by the fourth or fifth deal, you can now say, I'm doing it on my own. I don't need the partner I used to. Do you know our first set of deals? We just started all these years. We've been doing different deals in America, partnering with people. This is the first time we are now doing it without partnering with people, except people who are partnering with us. Because all this while, it's just been look for who is good at it. And it's helpful because today, when I have challenges, I go to those I've worked with before. And they're willing to share with me because, hey, I was not selfish, right? We've done deals together, and they know it's my right to now want to be doing some of them on my own. And they don't have a problem with that. And they are willing to support me because I have done many with them as well. Okay? But how do you get institutional investors, property mortgage brokers? The mortgage brokers, most of them have over 100 different lenders, right? So it's whichever one suits your deal, they will tell, and then they will fund your deal. That's the least of your headache, right? The problem is just, are you dealing with the right mortgage broker, right? Are you dealing with the right lender? I hope I've answered this question.
Yes, you have, sir. So, sir, we still have Mr. Joshua, Mr. Lani, and Ms. Chisom. We will come back to them.
Yeah, let me
after
take
your
them.
slides.
Yes, thank you. So let's look at how do you source for the right investment for real estate in the US. So how do you know the real estate deal you are even doing is the right one? Because that's probably one of the most important aspects of tonight's training. Okay? Because all this funding or no funding, if you're in the wrong deal, you can lose everything. And when I say everything, everything. And like I said again, America is not a place. How many of you, we all do real estate, so we know what I'm talking about. How many of you have seen people you should be reporting, claiming they will report you in your real estate venture? If I experience one today. Now, this guy was a contractor who did the most rubbish job for us in Abuja here. The job he did was so bad, we had to be removing the wood, the roof, right? Terrible job. Then when the project happened, I said, where is this guy? Let them arrest him. The guy disappeared. Okay? Recently my image has been flying around our $200 million project. So one of the group they posted into, the guy just dropped. I did a job for you people, you did not pay me. I was screenshotting one contract. He covered some part of the contract. And then had the courage to even send it to me. Again, I'm not in charge of construction or contract with GTEx, but they briefed me on what always happens with each vendor. So he had the courage to be reaching out. This was the guy we were even looking for to even arrest him when he did that rubbish job. So I don't know what jumped into his head. He now messaged me and said, you having the audacity to message me. He even claimed he will contact his lawyer. I said, please, there are some people who really need to suffer. Because it's a case of you did a terrible job. We're supposed to ask you to pay us back the money we gave you. Now you are the one that think you have some right somewhere. Years later. Right? So, but how many of you agree with me that people still go scot-free like that in Nigeria? Literally, people can be wrong and still bully you in Nigeria. Come on, talk to me. True of us. Like they will, and they can, if they have more muscle, they will still deal with you in this country. True of us. Come on, talk to me. We're all into business here. Right? And they will still mess you up. And you are right. But not in America. Not in America. You cannot muscle your way. It is that thing you people sign that is the law. It's the law. Right? Whether you now understood it, you don't understand, there's nothing you can do. In fact, if you and I have a business issue and you disagree with me, if you come to my office and start shouting, I can get the police to arrest you and put a restraining order on you in America. True. But in Nigeria, you can bribe EFCC, they will come. Bribe Interpol, bribe soldier. They don't even care who is right, who is wrong. So when you start doing business internationally, guys, you need to literally wear a whole different cap a whole different mindset because, like I said, scamming is everywhere. Just that in America, it's done legally, right? And there's nothing you can do if you lose your money. So how do we know you are finding the right deal? Number one, okay, traditional, you need to, first of all, be sure you've taken care of the funding sources before we even say the right deal. Because what do I mean? Your funding will determine whether the deal is right or wrong. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? Your funding sources, your funding connections, right, determines whether a deal is the right deal for you or is the wrong deal. So we have the traditional funding sources. You even answered the last question. Banks, explore conventional banks are open to Chase. We give you loan for real estate easily. We have private money lenders. Consider private lenders, short-term, high interest. We call them hard money, bridging loan. We have hard money lenders, utilize hard money lenders, particularly if you are doing construction. So if you are doing fix and flip, consider high money lenders because they are the best for fix and flip. Credit union, leverage on credit union loans for competitive rates. So credit union, please join a credit union in America. They look small, but they give you the best rates. They give you the best loan. America is what you know. America is purely about knowledge. Trust me, the person who has the right information. I'll give you a very funny experience. I had a friend of mine went to university together. And how many of you have been to New York before and you see these guys in New York who try to sell you bus tickets, right? How many of you have seen people like that? They try to sell you bus tickets, right? Now, are you aware that it's the most ridiculous kind of job you can do in America, particularly in New York? The pay is almost nonsense, but that's what most people, when they come to New York, particularly start from, right? And it's really tough for them. But guess what? Now, my friend continued this job for many, many years, struggling with his bills, struggling with his finances. Meanwhile, there's a 3-month construction course he could have done. And this guy will move from managing $20,000 to $30,000 a year and move to earning $150,000 a year. Just a 3-month certification course. And the job potentially can get him to making $500,000 a year over time. Do you know, he just met one of our other colleagues and I was like, why are you struggling with this kind of job? Oh yeah, here's the link. Register, do this. Today, this guy now has his own house. He's now married, he now have children. Because for years we were just, why are you not married? Apparently it was the money. Now he has his own house. He's doing so well, earning over $200,000 a year. So America is about information. Unfortunately, why do our people struggle when they come to America? They are not willing to pay for information. They are used to the normal African culture where information is free. Talk to Dr. Stephen. He will do free webinar for you. Or he will do cheap real estate course for you. That's not how America works. You want quality real estate course, you can't pay less than $10,000. Quality. Can't pay less than any other one. It's just an intro. Right? So you are in a country where what really make you thrive is the quality of information you leverage on. It cost me $250,000. Everybody say $250,000. So far, to be able to gain quality mentorship access to Grant Cardone. Everybody type $250,000 to get quality mentorship access to Grant Cardone. It took me another 2 years to go to Harvard University to study real estate investment. As I speak to you, I just got admission again to Harvard University. This time around is the most expensive program Harvard University has. That is a non-degree program. It's for founders of businesses, and it goes for $150,000. Everybody say $150,000 before I can graduate. $150,000 is the new course I just got admission with. And it's not master's, it's not PhD, it's not even a degree. But you see, those are where the gems are. Anybody else that can pay $150,000 to come for a founders program runs a big big company. Do you agree with me? That person or his father owns one of the biggest company and is looking forward to handing over his business to him and wants him to go for that training. Do you agree with me? Now, how many of you agree with me that those are the kind of people that should be my partners, should be my clients, should be my... Are we learning here? So there are certain programs I go for. It's not even for what they want to teach me. It's the quality of people in the room. Because that's what determines your future here. So I'm new in America. Hey, how do I mix with the richest people? Well, go for the biggest course in Harvard that is meant for business owners who are trying to learn how to literally, turn their business to a transgenerational one based on the American core principles that the forefathers of America had. So the quality of what I'll be getting, information-wise, connection-wise, Jesus, this is how to take this to the next level. Come on, how many of you are excited about today's class? So I needed to digress and get this so that you get this, right? And you stop looking for shortcuts and freebies here and there. Be willing to pay so that you can move to the next level of your business and career. So, mortgage brokers, like I told you earlier, work with a mortgage broker for access of multiple lenders instead of just sticking to one, right? Alternative funding sources. Number one, real estate investment trust and private equity firm. So I have a question for you guys. What is a real estate investment trust? What is a real estate investment trust? Okay, you can feel free to type your answers. Other ways, government-backed programs, there is FHA loan, usually for affordable housing administration. There's VA loans, there's USDA loans, a lot of government loans. You want to consider this. Now, Investors Network. Guys, you must join my real estate investors network. If you are serious about real estate, I'm putting together one of the most solid real estate network. And what am I doing? I'm putting investors in the same room, lenders in the same room, mortgage brokers in the same room. Can you believe that? Real estate agents in the same room. How many of you want to be part of this? Real estate developers in the same room. So everybody that matters. So if you are an agent, you are getting somebody who's trying to buy a property. So you make money as an agency. You that are looking for the property, you get someone to get you a good deal. If you're a lender, you are looking for somebody who is borrowing money. We just put everybody in the room. If you're a lawyer, accountant, so I'm putting together the best, literally, networking. And this is starting from January, but you can, put your name down so that you're part of this. And this puts you in a good position. It's one of the powerful ways, guys. You must join a real estate network. In America, you have to, even in Nigeria, because you can then leverage on contact connections that everybody has. Online platform. So this is one of the major tools I use. You can set up what we call a syndication. A syndication is under a real estate investment trust. Allows you to invest in real estate without owning or managing properties directly. It generates income by renting out properties like malls, offices, apartments, and shares profits with the investors through dividends, and this make it easy. Now, under real estate trust, because that real estate trust is usually way big. For you to even become a trust, you are like monster big. But you can start small with what we call a syndication. Everybody says syndication. Again, I paid $25,000 to my lawyer that helped me to file a syndication. in the US, just so that I'm doing everything by the books, right? And with a real estate syndication, what that does is you can now go online and start raising funds from investors. This has been one of the ways I've raised millions of dollars, right? I show the deal. Oh, we are doing this 99-acre property. If you invest $20,000, we'll give you X number of returns, and then you sign the contract, and people sign, and we start the deal. And so I've been able to raise millions of dollars through online crowdfunding syndication. But you must register, and then some of you can talk to me privately again. Like I said, not everything I can say here in a webinar on how to set up your syndication. But you must do it legally so that nobody trying to come after you, because in business, trust me, there's no guarantee somebody will not wake up one day and not like your face, right? And they can start reporting you. They can report you to FBI. They can report you to CIA, right? Not CIA because you are not terrorists, but at least FBI. So make sure you do your business in a well-structured manner in such a way they report you anywhere. I tell people, I say, report to CIA, report to FBI. If I report to anybody, I have done things by the books. So please do it by the books. You can't cut corners in developed worlds like you do in Nigeria. Okay? Due diligence. Evaluate investment potential, assess risk returns, review financial statement, conduct market research, and so on and so forth, right? So you can see that there's a lot to this. I'm trying to move fast. I want us to look at immigration. So migrating to the US for you and your family, you'll be glad to know I'm now a legal US resident. If you're happy to know, you can say I'm happy. And I migrated with my business. And I encourage a lot of people who want to travel internationally to do so. I hate seeing Nigerians, you're already doing well in Nigeria, and then you think whatever reason you want to Japa, you shut down everything you have in Nigeria, and then you move elsewhere, and then you start as an Uber driver, you start with ridiculous odd jobs. That is not befitting. You can practically use the proof of what you've done in Nigeria, right, to expand internationally. How many of you are happy to hear that? I remember the day I went for my residency visa for US. Everybody I saw in the Lagos US Embassy, everybody I saw that was in front of me was not given visa. Everybody, and I'm talking of hundreds of people. Like me and my wife kept counting, whether we even see one they will give. By the time it got to our turn, it was a gist. As soon as I told her, oh, I bought a multi-million-dollar property in so place, I have this investment here, I have that here. We just started this. In fact, I told her, I said, what do you think? Will I do well in America? I said, oh, yes, Dr. Steven, you're going to do so well in America. America is going to be great for you. I immediately she was stamping and say, hey, welcome. So it's very important that you know this, that they respect. Remember, I kept talking about your business is even respected than you. They will give you too many requirements, but your business is almost given a more easier pathway, okay, to even immigration as well, right? So, number one, determine eligibility, right, by checking your visa option. Which one are you eligible for? EB1, priority worker. EB2, advanced degree. EB3, skilled worker, right? Ensure leadership team members meet eligibility criteria. So here, right now we're applying now for visa for our staff in Nigeria so that some of them move to the US. So step 2, choose the right visa, okay? Is it L1, visa for executives, managers, specialized knowledge workers, transfer within the company. EB1, visa for priority workers with extraordinary ability, outstanding professors, researcher, or certain multinational executives. EB2, Visa for what? Advanced degree holders. So those of you who are masters, you are PhD, you qualify for this. EB3, visa for skilled workers, professionals and unskilled workers. So nurses can get EB3, doctors can get EB3, certain type of agriculture specialists can get all of this. So now I'm not an immigration consultant or lawyer. I can always link you up with my immigration lawyer that will help me with my immigration and that of my company. And these are opportunities that we are providing for all of you who are interested today. Okay, are you happy? Because the reason why the essence of mentorship is that somebody has gone ahead, right? And he then makes the journey easier for those coming, right? I don't know if you agree with me. Of course, like I always say, relationships should be mutually beneficial. I don't know if you agree with me. It shouldn't be that you expect me to go extra mile, help you with all of this, and there should be nothing in it. That's not how life works, right? It's fair that it's a win-win for both of us. So, what are basic requirements? Gather your passport, date of birth, marriage certificate if applicable, divorce or separation if applicable, educational criteria, degrees, diploma, transcript, work experience documents like letters, business plan, financial statement like L1 visa, right? Step 2, file a petition and application, right? With I-140, depending on which one. Please, again, like I said, work with a professional. I always work with an immigration lawyer, right? Because they are the professionals who are really, really expected to be good at this, right? So I will skip all of the other parts, but trust me, every one of you can easily get not just visa for yourself, but for your workers and for people who work with you, okay? Let me skip this as well. Let me skip this as well. So, how many of you are interested to know how can we help you in GText? Okay, how can we work together? Are you interested in hearing that part? Right? If you're interested, type I'm interested. How can we work together to make your dream of investing in real estate in the US come true? And for some of you who even dream to relocate to the US to via investments, we can work together on this. So how do we work together? So I'll share a few tips and we'll move on from there. Number one, strategic guidance. I'm available to provide a lot of guidance for you from business planning, market research strategy, operational support. We have a big office, $1.6 million in Katy. We're willing to have you. You can turn our office because we are providing what we call virtual space, desk space, where you can be using our office address as your company address. I don't know if you think that's cool. Of course, you pay a token for it, right? And all of this helps to put your perception, your packaging of your company in a better way. Provide management for you. So some of you who want to start the business, but you're not ready to move into the US yet, we can be managing things for you. Brokerage services, you're trying to look for the right property to buy. We have agents who will look for the right deal, and we can help you to, in the process of buying the deal, having you close the deal, even if you are not here in the US. Okay, all that we can work together. Networking and marketing, I talked about that earlier. We want to bring you together with the right agent, the right lawyers, the right accountants, the right people who are looking for to fund deals. So in those groups, you can throw and say, I have this deal, I'm looking for institutional funding, or I'm looking for private investors. You will see people say, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. That's what we're trying to create, right? And I think this is a good thing to do. Marketing strategies. You and I know I'm a good salesman. PR and branding, I'm willing to help you out with all of that. Expansion strategy, the right market, the right partnership, the right acquisition. I'm willing to do all of that for you as well as a company now. So GTEx Holding will provide, of course, real estate development, property management, investment banking, equity, venture capital, merger acquisitions, strategic advisory, market research, business planning, and digital transformation. So what are the benefits of working with us? Access to capital and funding, expertise in real estate development and management, strategic guidance and networking, enhancing operational efficiency, increased brand visibility and reputation. Right? You can brag and say, I'm working with Dr. Stevens GTEx Holdings in our expansion in the US. And you and I know, the whole world knows that we have expanded to the US. And that's a major credibility for you. Improve this decision-making through data and analysis, compliance with regulatory requirements, which is everything in America. Okay, so you don't run into trouble. Accelerate expansion and growth. How many of you heard the story of Airpeace, right? And what's going on in America? How many of you have heard that story? Are you aware that it wasn't supposed to be a big deal? Are you guys aware? Now, I incidentally met the man who claimed to have helped them with the first acquisition, right? And he had a way he had advised them, and they acquired the first set of aircraft. But apparently some other people advised the founder of the company, allegedly, to do it in a certain way. So some of the money for the aircraft were routed into a charity company. He owns the charity company. He owns a normal business company. But whatever reason they gave him the advice, do you know that's the beginning of the trouble? That the money went into a charity company instead of going into a corporate company. Because obviously what he used the money to buy was private jets. So, planes. So it wasn't like he used to buy drugs. But that is still money laundering in America. So unfortunately, anything can land you into trouble in that part of the world. With what you are supposed to pay to A, you pay to B, you're in trouble. So and that's why if you notice, how many of you notice that some of your colleagues that have been in America for too long are always scared? How many of you have noticed that? You always hear things like, be careful, this is America, this. How many of you have noticed that? Okay? And even though I believe many of them overdo it, because many of them have now been practically paralyzed and are not able to make any sound decisions in their lives, because everything is just be careful, be careful. How many of you have noticed that? And that's why in America or UK or US, if the people through which you move to those parts of the world are drivers, when you join, you will be a driver. Did you notice? If the person that is your contact to come to America is a nurse, you do nursing. If they are doing Uber, you do Uber, because they only tell you to follow the path they know and they've been doing. Come on, talk to me. Are you guys here? Can't see comments. Okay? And the reason why
Yes, we are, sir.
and the reason why that is so is because people have been through trouble for things they shouldn't have gone to jail for. Just a wrong advice. Just some, talk somewhere and you're in trouble. Okay? So again, it's important that if somebody has gone ahead of you, you leverage on their wisdom and you scale. So these are some of the deals we are doing. This is multifamily. And, so what I'm doing with deals like this, I'm buying them a little over $1 million. Some of them are 2 million, some are 1.4 million. And I'm taking the rent for the next 1 year while I apply for permits to turn this to a 4-story. Because I only buy this type of houses in places where the neighborhood is developing fast and people are now building 3-story, 4-story buildings there. So instead of this one that like this, I think is 16 units. So by the time I turn it to a 4-story, it will now be between 50 to 60 units. Do you see what I'm talking about? And the value will jump from, let's say, $1.4 million and will jump to almost $5 million. Meanwhile, all I'm probably putting in to renovate it, I get a bridging loan. I may just put in another 1.5 plus the initial 1.4. Now they're giving me valuation of $5 million. I have made a profit of over $2 million, and in a space of 1 or 2 years. What if you think this is cool? Meanwhile, immediately I bought it, I was still collecting rent while I went to get the permit to take it higher. Are we learning here? So this is the way I do some